Today we're ranking every single new exotic Epic added in Chapter 6 Season 2. There are 12 in total, and in last place, I'm going to put the Trinity Assault Rifle. The thing about this assault rifle is it has some good moments. You know, it shoots in a burst or like a pattern of 3, and it feels more like a shotgun. And actually, something that's very interesting about this gun is Epic does count it as a shotgun, even if it's just a mistake. If you have this gun in your inventory and you have an extra shotgun as well, you're going to get a shotgun delay when you swap to your shotty because the game thinks that the Lawless Trinity is actually a shotgun when it's not. The other thing is that it has very, very terrible range. And this thing, especially in build mode, is very bad because it does not do a lot of structure damage. It shoots very slow and the structure damage is very low. So if somebody builds, you're not breaking through their builds and doing bleed damage using the Trinity Assault Rifle. It's clunky. It has some good moments, but compared to the rest of the weapons on this list, I got it in last place. The only other weapon that could be in last place instead, but I feel like has a little bit more utility, is number 11, the Blink Pump and Dump. Now, in general, the Pump and Dump is just a terrible weapon. I don't like the way it's implemented. I feel like the shotgun in the Pump and Dump needs to just do more damage. Fortnite is afraid of it being too OP. I get it because it's an SMG and a shotgun all in one gun. But I don't really see people using this. I don't see people using this in zero build. I don't see people using this in build mode. It might have a little bit more effect in zero build. But when we talk about the exotic version, you get the 0 point effect after reloading. And the good thing is that you can actually reload the SMG or the shotgun. So anytime you reload either one, you get the 0 point effect. You get to like kind of teleport and jump around, which makes it a little bit more useful for dashing and movement. But in general, just as an actual gun that's dealing damage, it still feels a little bit awkward to use. It might be like a skill issue because it's a new kind of gun and it's a very unique concept, but I just feel like the damage output is still too low. I would always rather have a Sentinel pump shotgun over the Pump and Dump, or even the auto shotgun over the Pump and Dump. And that's why it's rated very low on this list. Next up at number 10, we have the Final Mark Sniper Rifle. So this is a cool concept, but it's not very practical. This is basically similar to the Falcon Eye Sniper, but when you hit somebody with the sniper, you actually mark them. Now, the problem with this gun is that it's based off of the Falcon Sniper. The Falcon Sniper just sucks. It doesn't do a lot of body shot damage. And the thing about this is, like, when you're using a sniper rifle, you're not going to really be able to shoot the same person multiple times. So the fact that you get extra damage if you hit them one time and then you hit them again, you'll get extra damage. Who is out here standing still for you to snipe them multiple times? The sniper is supposed to be like a one and done thing. You're supposed to try to headshot snipe them. And if you miss the headshot and you hit them in the body, you at least crack their shield. And you can try to swap to an AR or push them to finish them off. The thing about this sniper is you're not even cracking their shield if you hit them in the body. You're only hitting them for 80. Now, you will one-shot headshot them in build mode, but not in zero build. This thing does not do 250 damage in zero build. So if they're full health, full shield, you're just cracking them. So the fact that you have to hit them again to get the extra damage is just weird. I feel like the extra damage might have been more useful if it was just extra damage across the board. So if you tag somebody with this, all your guns do extra damage to that person that's marked. That would actually make it more useful, but even that might not move it up or down this list. It's just not good. It's just not a good sniper, and the exotic version doesn't really help it either. At number 9, we have the Slap Cannon. This one had a ton of potential. You guys remember the old Chug Cannon? It basically was infinite heals, just on a cooldown. You know, 20 seconds, you get another charge. The issue was that this one has the charge where you have to kind of wait. It's a 15-second reload per shot, but it also has durability. That's right. This is the first Chug Cannon, exotic cannon that has durability, which means that eventually this item just breaks. You just spent a dill bit to buy it. You use it a handful of times and eventually just runs out and breaks. On top of that, it still takes up 2 inventory spots. So you're stuck carrying only 3 other items while using it. And as a result, it's just not worth using. Like, most people are just going to want to buy 6 splashes, 3 big pots, or other things with their dill bits over the Lawless Slap Cannon. At number 8, we have one that's just kind of useful. It's the Twin Fire Slap Shotgun. So the Twin Fire Shotgun is an okay shotgun. It's not the best, you know, auto shotgun we've had in Fortnite, but it's solid. It gets the job done. It's pretty good in zero build, not as good in build mode, but this thing gives you the infinite slap effect when you're holding it, which is going to help you just kind of move around on the map. You get the perma sprint. You can chase people down a little bit better. It's better to rotate and gets you out of sticky situations. You combine that with some of the other movement items as well, and the gold rush effect, and you're kind of moving across the map. On top of that, it does do a decent amount of damage. It's a little bit slow. It doesn't have a fast reload, but it's still something, right? It's still something. It's somewhat useful. At number 7, we are starting to get to the items that are a little bit more useful. We got the stink hunting rifle. They definitely were trying to make this one balanced, because when I first saw this and I like the leaks about this came out, I thought it was actually just a full-on stink bomb that you could shoot out of the rifle. But it's a traditional, hunting rifle that does a decent amount of damage, one shot headshot potential, all that stuff, but it leaves a stink effect where you shoot. The issue is that the stink effect is actually very small, so you're rarely actually hitting people with it. People move out of the way pretty quickly. If you guys remember the stink bombs that you could shoot, that you could throw back in the day, they had a pretty wide range. If somebody was boxed up and you threw a stink bomb at their box, they almost had to stand on the edge of the box to avoid the stink. If somebody's boxed up and you shoot the stink rifle at their box, you're rarely ever hitting them. The stink area is way too small for it to be useful. So in general, it's just basically just a hunting rifle. The exotic aspect of it isn't that useful. I've seen it be somewhat useful sometimes, but most of the times it's not. I think they could definitely increase the radius, because you got to remember there's only one of these on the map at any given moment, because it's an exotic. You have to buy it from the black market. So if it was OP, it wouldn't be that big of a deal because there's only one on the map. Next up at number 6, we actually have a very, very useful exotic. I like this one a lot. It's the exotic chug cannon. It takes up only one slot, unlike the exotic slap cannon. It takes up one slot and it gives you 400 healing. So it's like carrying 2 chug jugs in just one item. On top of that, it gives you the slap effect, which gives you the perma sprint for a temporary boost. And it's just overall a very solid healing item. Whenever I kill somebody who has this, I'm very happy to carry it for the rest of the match. I usually don't end up even needing all of that chug jug, because we're talking about 400 health of healing. That's going to really carry you to the end of the match. Very worth it, very worth purchasing, very solid item. Next up, we have the explosive mammoth pistol. People panicked when this leaked, because they thought, the mammoth pistol is already very powerful, but to add the explosive effect to it as well could be a little bit dangerous. But it's a little different, because this thing is not hit scan. The mammoth pistol is hit scan, meaning when you shoot it, wherever you're aiming, the bullet instantly is there. But because the explosive mammoth pistol is a projectile, it acts more like a sniper. So you have to lead your shot. And hitting somebody who's further than like 50 meters with the explosive mammoth pistol, unless they're standing still, you're not really hitting anybody with this thing. I will say though, it's not useless. I've used this in build fights, in box fights, to do damage around structures and just catch people off guard. When you do land the actual bullet, it does a decent amount of damage. So the damage output is there. The structure damage is pretty good as well. You can hit people who are hiding behind structures and buildings. And it's kind of a toss-up. Sometimes I prefer to use this over the regular mammoth pistol, but I will say that when it comes to using the exotic mammoth versus the mythic mammoth, I'm taking the mythic mammoth every single time, because it's just more consistent. On top of that, if you get the mythic mammoth pistol and then you grab the scorpion medallion, you pretty much get the explosive part of the exotic mammoth pistol without needing it to be a projectile. It doesn't do as much explosive damage. It's only 20 explosive damage versus this one doing 70 or 50, but it's still worth it. At number 4, we have the heavy impact tracking rifle. This one is very solid, because it's kind of like the heavy sniper. We're talking 138 body shot damage, long reload time, but you get the heavy sniper effect of like just hitting really hard even to the body. And then you scan everybody in the area. So you're shooting a little scanning device. You can scan an entire squad. You can scan the player. Even if you end up missing the snipe shot, it's still very useful to shoot before a fight, because then you have them marked through buildings, through walls, and you can keep track of them very easily. The impact sniper rifle is just like kind of a reskin of the heavy sniper. It does a decent amount of structure damage as well, 193 structure damage. So you can one-shot any wooden wall. You can one-shot freshly placed brick and metal walls as well. The only downside of this weapon is that it has a long reload time, but heavy sniper rifles tend to do that. At number 3, we have the Shockwave rocket launcher. This is one of the more unique items they have added to the game, and one of my favorite items that they added this season. It's inspired by the TF2 rocket launcher. The thing about this is you do not damage yourself with it. So you can actually shoot it at the ground to boost yourself across the map, and you don't do any damage to yourself. It does 50 damage to players, but it does do 400 structure damage, breaking all structures just like any RPG, but it also pushes players away on impact. Very useful to put a player out of position, to push somebody into storm, and it's also just very useful to rotate across the map using the Shockwave rocket launcher. One of the most enjoyable and most fun items they have added. So besides it being very useful, it's also very fun. At number 2, one of the most useful items they've added is the Rift Launcher. It's basically a get out of jail card. If things get sticky, you shoot the sticky at the ground and you spawn in a rift. But what I really like about the Rift Launcher is that you can use it defensively and offensively. If someone's trying to run you over with a vehicle, you shoot them up into the air, teleport their car hundreds of feet in the air. You can actually blow up their car before it even hits the ground and they'll fall to their death. If somebody's pushing you as well, you can just rip them up in the air. And if you're in a safe spot, you can kind of pull out your assault rifle or your mammoth pistol and start shooting them out of the sky. And all they can do is try to dodge. If you have really good aim, you can rift your opponent up in the air and start shooting them. On top of that, it recharges and does not break. It has no durability, so you can just keep using it over and over to rift whenever you want to. You can rift yourself, rift opponents. It's very versatile. And then combining this with the new Scorpion Mythic and just the chain item, you can pull people in, go into the rift, and end up pulling them up in the air, making them fall to their death, which is just hilarious and actually very easy to pull off. And then at number 1, we have the Accelerant Hollow Twister AR. The Hollow Twister AR is just very solid. It's one of the best assault rifles they've added in the game. It's even better than the Twin Mag AR, which is in the game right now. Of course, the Twin Mag got nerfed, but people are still preferring the Hollow Twister AR. This thing is just broken. It does a lot of damage. It shoots really fast. Initially, it was kind of hard to use because of how fast it was shooting. The recoil was kind of kicking in, but once you get the hang of it, you are shredding players' HP. You're shredding through their builds. It is the #1 go-to long-range assault rifle this season. Not only that, but you also gain the pepper effect when you start shooting it, so you actually get to run faster while you're using this. So it's not only just giving you a lot of damage, but also mobility. It reminds me of the Accelerant Maven auto shotgun, which is, in my opinion, is the best exotic hands down ever. If we include all the other exotics, this one is up there as well. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any changes you would make to this list, comment them down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.